Hey y'all, happy Saturday night. Okay, so I told y'all on the last video or the last two videos I said I was going to come back and talk to y'all in depth or in detail about my overnight hospital stay last Sunday to Monday of last week. And so I was reading my comments under the video when I had first mentioned that I was in the hospital last Sunday overnight. And that made me say, you know what, I need to like tonight do that video because I was just gonna wait till tomorrow and come back and like give the full details of it because I had already told y'all, that I was in the hospital and I had said why. But after reading my comments on that video, I was like, oh no, I need to come on here tonight because this might help somebody. um okay, so I told y'all, just let me give you a little synopsis, a little recap of what I had said. I was in the hospital because I had woke up. Okay, let me just give you a little synopsis from the beginning for those of you who may not have seen the other two videos that I did today. So, okay, so I've mentioned previously that I have issues with sinuses, like I get sinus headaches. And I was diagnosed with having sinus headache issues like years ago, and I used to take Advil, cold and sinus. That used to be the only thing that could get my headaches together. No other medicine that I was taking at the time could, except for Advil, cold and sinus. So over the years, they've gotten better. And now when I get a sinus headache, I just take Excedrins, or I go to the Dollar Tree and I get those headache pain pills that says compares to Excedrins. And they usually work, knocks my headaches right out, like immediately, like within the first 10-15 minutes. Okay, so Sunday morning, I woke up with a sinus headache. So I thought, no big deal. I wake up with that sometimes, but sometimes it'll just, it'll drain, my sinuses will open up and the headache will go away and I don't even have to take any kind of medicine for it. So I didn't take anything right away because, like I said, I usually try to wait a little bit and see if it'll go away on its own just to keep from having to take medicine all the time. Well, so I was just doing my regular, I was, laying in the bed, watching videos and stuff, YouTube videos and stuff. And so an hour had passed, and I noticed my headache had gotten like a little worse. And I was like, oh well, let me go ahead and pop my little two Excedrins, and I'll be good. So I went and took my two Excedrins as usual, and sat on the couch, and it was really sunny. The sun was like really beaming through the window in the living room, and the sun was just like, oh my God, I can't take the sun. Wow, this is bad. And then I started to feel nauseated. So I got up off the couch and I came in the room and I said, I'm gonna lay down and give the medicine, a little bit of time. I said, maybe this is just like a really bad one. It's gonna take like maybe 30 minutes, maybe, 30 minutes rather than just a little 10 minutes that it usually takes. So I came and laid down, and then, like I said, I was getting really nauseated, and then it was like I couldn't lay down. I had to sit up. Then I wanted to lay down, and I just wasn't comfortable either way. And like I said, the nauseation was like extremely, like, oh my God, I felt so sick to my stomach. Like I had said in the last vlog, pregnancy type nausea. It was really bad. And I noticed that the pills that usually work within like 10 minutes, they weren't working. I was just like getting worse, the nausea. Then I started feeling a little dizzy. Then I started, which I think I left this little symptom out. My left hand, the tips of my fingers, like right here, started tingling a little bit. Not like it wasn't numb, but it just started tingling a little bit, my left hand. So I was just like, and I was just starting to feel like really bad, like the nausea and everything. So I told my husband, I think I need to go to the hospital because I don't know what's going on. So the moral of the story is, it ended up being that I had a complicated migraine. Now, migraines do run in my family. I mean, like totally. So that wasn't like off the mark, to hear that I had a migraine. I'm thinking that, all of these years I've had sinus headaches, in which I do, but I also have, well, I haven't had a migraine issue like that before. I think I did one time before when I had the flu, but that headache came from having the flu. But yeah, but it ended up being a complicated migraine. However, the reason why they kept me overnight and monitored me and gave me all of these tests is because and I never knew this. So this is just like a little tip, and this is why I felt obligated to come on tonight and talk about it, because I'll talk to you about the girl Petra Symbol who had left me a comment, and I'll tell you about that little story. But those were my symptoms: the headache, really bad headache, nausea, the dizziness and a little bit of tingling in my left hand and my fingers, my arm, fingers, like that. Now, when I went into the hospital, okay, I've noticed that when I went in, when they had me, in the room, all of these nurses came and they was all hooking me up, and the reason being is because the symptoms that I was having were very close to stroke symptoms. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, don't take headaches lightly, because migraine headache symptoms are very close to stroke symptoms. Okay, so that's why everybody ran in. They put an IV on me. They did the little hookups for the EKG. They had a heart monitor on, monitoring my heart. They gave me an MRI. They gave me a CAT scan. They gave me an ultrasound. They did every test in the world. They test my cholesterol. They test everything. So the best part that came out of this whole thing is I got a complete physical, like within 24 hours. They checked everything because, like I said, they had to rule out stroke. And then, once they was able to rule out stroke, then they could, say, okay, this was a migraine. But migraine headaches, for those of you who don't know, migraine headache symptoms can look like stroke, um, symptoms. So if you have any of those kind of symptoms when you get headaches, go to the doctors because you could be having a stroke coming on. You could have a mild stroke happening or whatever have you. Okay. So that's why I felt impaired to do this video. While I felt impaired, I said I was going to do it anyway. Come back and just give y'all the 411 on it or the 911 on it. But when I read the girl's comment under my video, Petra Simba, this is the little story, and it's public information, so I'm sure she won't mind me telling it. Because whenever you leave a comment, it's for the public to see. So I don't feel like I'm, sharing any private stuff. If she had sent me the message in my inbox or a PM on Facebook, I would have felt like, well, that was a little private. But if you leave a comment in my comment section, that's kind of public. So if you don't mind, Petra Simba, I'm going to share your story that you told me that you knew about, because this could help somebody. She said it was a lady that used to come to the daycare center, and she had older children, but then she had a 2-year-old. It was like a 15-year gap. She had the older children, and 15 years later, she had a 2-year-old little boy. They said that she was having headaches, and she had been going back and forth to her doctors, for having headaches all the time. They didn't take it seriously, and what ended up happening is the lady ended up having a massive stroke, and she died. And I thought, oh my gosh. And she had been going to the doctors for the headaches, and they didn't pick up on it. Um, so the headaches that she was having, or whatever the symptoms she was having, it was leading to a stroke. And she had a massive stroke and died. Had a 2-year-old baby in daycare. So when I read her comment, like I said, I was already planning on coming back on, and I actually said, you know what, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, because I had already did 3 videos today. So I was gonna I said, well, I'm gonna just do that tomorrow. I already gave them the tea on it, so it's not like I got y'all sitting back worried about, oh my God, why was she in the hospital? I gave you the tea, but I just was gonna come back and just kind of give you the details on it, because people was concerned and wanting to know. I'm fine now, y'all. It was a complicated migraine. It runs in my family. I've been having headaches for years, but like I said, I do have sinus issues, which also I think is contributing to my really bad snoring that I'm doing here lately. So I'm also going to go get a sleep study done, because I need to find out why I snore so loudly. And when I first met my husband, we've been together 7 years, and we haven't been married 7 years, but we've been knowing each other for 7 years, and I never snored, at least not like that, maybe a little teeny bit. As a matter of fact, I said this on another video, he was actually excuse me, I'm sorry, he was actually the big time snorer, very big time. Like, I'm shaking him like, would you please turn over? Would you please, And now it's opposite. Like, I snore so bad that he got to get up in the middle of the night and go sleep on the couch so he can get some rest for work. Like, that's how bad it is. So that's why I say, when you marry somebody, it's for better, for worse, because who you marry might not be who you end up with, because things change. Like I said, that changed. He used to be the snorer, and now I'm the snorer. So I'm going to go get a sleep study done, so that I could, get my issue resolved. because he says I actually stops breathing sometimes, and he's afraid that like I might choke if I'm laying on my back. That's why he constantly wakes me up and tell me to turn over on my side. I don't snore as much when I'm on my side. Plus, he's afraid, like I said, that I'm gonna choke. Um, but yeah. So that's thank you, Petra Simba. You inspired me to go ahead and knock this video out tonight as opposed to tomorrow, because somebody out there needs to hear this. Like I said, stroke symptoms and migraine headaches and stroke symptoms are close. Okay? And you have to go to the doctor so that they can rule out stroke by doing all kinds of different tests. And like I said, I got a million tests done overnight. Like I said, the reason why they kept me was because, like I said, whenever you come in with those kind of symptoms, they have to make sure you're not getting ready to have a stroke or in the middle of having a stroke or having a mild stroke. And they take, well, when, my doctor or my hospital took it seriously. They didn't play. And I mean, I literally had every test there was to have done. I had an ultrasound done on my heart. Like I said, I had the MRI done on my head. I had the CAT scan done. I had was it an X-ray? Yep, I had an X-ray done. X-ray, MRI, CAT scan, ultrasound. They did everything. Blood work. They tested everything, and thank God everything came back normal. No high blood pressure, because high blood pressure can give you really bad headaches too. That's another tip. Sugar, if your sugar level is not right, or some kind of diabetes is coming on, that could cause some of those like headaches and stuff. So they tested me for sugar, cholesterol, potassium level. They checked everything. So the good part about this whole thing is I got a show enough physical. I mean, when you go to get a physical, they don't even do all that ultrasound, MRI, CAT scan, check your brain, check your heart. They don't do all that for no physical. Um, so the good part about it all is that I got all things checked, and my sugar level was perfect. My blood pressure was perfect. Even when I went to the hospital with the headache, my blood pressure was normal when the triage nurse was checking all my vitals. So no diabetes, no sugar issues, no cholesterol issues, no high blood pressure issues. Um, like I said, it was just a complicated migraine. And once again, that runs in my family, so it wasn't out of the ordinary to hear that that, because my mom suffered with migraines for years. I mean, hers were really bad. Like, she had to be in a dark room, not near a little bit of light. That's how bad it was. But when I was sitting on the couch and that sunlight was really, like, really irritating me, I was just like, oh no, something is wrong, because that doesn't usually bother me when I get my little headaches. So, I just wanted to warn anybody out there that's having headache issues, go get them checked out and make sure that you're not going into, stroke mode or anything of that nature. And yeah, so clean bill of health, y'all. Yay. So, but yeah, that was a sad story hearing about that mother with that 2-year old that had that massive stroke, and she had been going to the doctors regularly, um, complaining about these headaches, and they did not, I guess, find that she was having stroke symptoms. I mean, I don't know. That's just a sad story. So, all right, y'all. So, good night, y'all. Happy Saturday. I hope you all had a good day. I rested today. I didn't do a whole lot of anything. Um, because, like I said, I told y'all, my husband um, is giving me a week's break. Like, he don't want me to cook. He don't want me to do anything, because he was so worried. Like, he said, you are my best friend. Like, I cannot lose you. So I want you to take it easy, because he's really scared. So yeah, he's been fixing me breakfast, lunch, and dinner, um, and just having me rest. So I'm enjoying that, child. I said, well, can I get a pussy pass? Shit, you giving me a break from that? Can the pussy get a rest? Hardy, y'all know I got act stupid and throw something rude and dumb in there. Anyway, child, I just be me, okay? I just keep it real. This is channel 100, aka 1 honey. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next video, child, which will probably be tomorrow, only if it's the Lord's will, child, because I don't know, child, okay? So I'm just thankful for now. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, okay? Because the day got his own problems, child. We'll worry about tomorrow. And the day we're going to worry about right now. All right, y'all. Bye, y'all.